I had spent weeks preparing for my diplomatic mission to the planet Calira, home of the Oriel Empire, one of the most technologically advanced civilizations in the galaxy. Humans had recently established a formal alliance, and as part of the envoy team, my role was to observe, record, and occasionally interact with the royal family in controlled settings. I expected protocol, procedure, and plenty of alien formality. What I didn't expect was to find myself frozen in a throne room, a few meters from the most powerful being in the galaxy, because of a single, ill-considered compliment. Queen Lyriel was legendary. Tales of her beauty, intellect, and commanding presence had circulated through interstellar trade routes long before I ever set foot on Calira. Her physique was said to be a perfect balance of strength and elegance, honed by centuries of Oriel evolution and discipline. I had prepared every word I would say during our introduction, every gesture, every form of respect, but human nerves have a way of betraying logic. The throne room was breathtaking. Towering ceilings pulsed with ambient energy, casting shifting iridescent hues across the floor. Floating platforms carried courtiers and aides, their garments refracting light into fractal patterns. At the far end of the chamber, Queen Lyriel descended slowly from her elevated throne, her presence magnetic. Every head turned. Every eye focused. And then, she looked at me. I swallowed, trying to steady my racing heartbeat. My task was simple: greet her respectfully, compliment her wisdom if necessary, and remain inconspicuous. But my training faltered under the weight of her gaze. When she stopped a mere few meters away, I made the mistake that would echo in my memory forever. You look astonishing," I said, my voice cracking slightly. "Your physique, it's remarkable. A perfect blend of grace and strength." The chamber went quiet. Courtiers' fractal garments flickered with subtle surprise, a near-invisible murmur of curiosity passing among them. I realized instantly that I might have committed a grave diplomatic faux pas. Complimenting a queen's appearance, particularly her body, was risky even for Oriels, who were far more accepting of admiration than humans. Then she tilted her head, her eyes glimmering with a sharp, playful intelligence. "Is that so?" she said, her voice like liquid metal. "Do you truly see it, human?" I nodded, too stunned to speak, and that's when she leaned closer. Her expression softened into something almost mischievous. "Do you want to see it up close?" My brain froze. Words, rehearsed and ready, scattered into oblivion. I felt every color of embarrassment, astonishment, and disbelief flooding my senses simultaneously. The courtiers stiffened, some whispering softly to each other, others observing the human's reaction with silent fascination. My mind raced. Was this a test? A jest? Or an actual invitation? Before I could stammer a response, Queen Lyriel extended her hand. It was elegant, deliberate, yet firm, a gesture of both command and invitation. "Step closer," she said, her voice calm yet impossibly commanding. I did the only thing my survival instincts could manage. I stepped forward, cautiously, aware that every movement was being observed, recorded, and analyzed. Each step felt surreal. The Queen's presence was overwhelming, her scent a mix of exotic flowers and something indefinably regal filled my senses. I realized, in that moment, that I was not merely a human observer. I was part of a ritual, one I did not fully understand. She circled me slowly, letting me see the form I had so rashly praised. Her physique was indeed remarkable, tall, lithe, and impossibly strong, with movements so fluid they seemed almost supernatural. But beyond the physical perfection, there was a sense of intelligence, authority, and confidence that radiated from her every gesture. I understood then that my words had not insulted or flustered her, they had been a test of perception, composure, and respect. "You see more than most," she said softly, stopping in front of me again. "Many would only notice the exterior. Few perceive the discipline, the centuries of training, the mind behind the body." I swallowed, finally finding my voice. I intended to convey admiration for both. "Not just the form, Your Majesty." A faint smile curved her lips, a mixture of approval and amusement. "Good," she said. "Humans are often hasty with words. It takes patience to observe fully." The courtiers relaxed, their attention subtly shifting. What had begun as an embarrassing mistake had transformed into an unusual, almost intimate exchange of trust and understanding. I realized I was witnessing something rare, a queen acknowledging a human as more than a subordinate, more than an envoy, an equal in perception and awareness. For the next hour, I walked alongside Queen Lyriel through the chamber, observing her techniques of balance, motion, and discipline. She explained, in cryptic but enlightening ways, the philosophy of the Oriole, that the body was a reflection of the mind, and mastery over one could reveal mastery over the other. I listened, enraptured, taking mental notes, yet fully aware that my admiration was not mere flattery, it was recognition of centuries of skill and dedication. By the time the session ended, I was both exhausted and exhilarated. She finally stepped back, her gaze locking onto mine. "Remember this, human," she said, her tone serious now. "Admiration is a bridge. It can lead to understanding or it can betray ignorance. Today, you chose wisely." I bowed, deeply aware of the weight of her words. "I will remember, Your Majesty." She inclined her head, a silent acknowledgement of approval, and floated back to her throne. The courtiers began to stir, murmuring to each other, but none dared approach me without permission. The message was clear: the human had been tested and passed, in a manner few could anticipate. In the weeks that followed, my relationship with the Queen shifted subtly. She granted me rare audiences, asked for my perspective on human culture, and even sought my opinion on courtly matters that affected diplomacy. My compliment, reckless as it had seemed in the moment, had opened a door that no formal training could have achieved. I had glimpsed not just her form, but her mind, and she had allowed me a space within it, however small. Eventually, I realized the truth. In the Oriole Empire, respect and perception mattered more than rank, bloodline, or strength. By observing carefully, speaking honestly, and acknowledging both body and mind, a human could earn a place in ways that others could not. And as I walked the throne room once more, observing the bioluminescent glow and the floating courtiers, I understood the weight of that frozen moment. My compliment had been genuine, impulsive, and human, but it had also revealed something deeper. It was a testament to honesty, courage, and the willingness to acknowledge beauty, strength, and intellect together. Queen Lyriel watched me from her throne that evening, a faint, approving smile on her lips. I had not only survived the encounter, I had gained her respect, her attention, and, perhaps, a rare and unspoken trust that would shape the rest of my time in the Oriole Empire. And in that silent understanding, I realized the truth. Sometimes, even the smallest words, spoken at the wrong or perfect moment, could change everything.